This is Connell and thank you for coming to Joy of Heraldry. As always, I'm encouraging those to keep in mind the harassment and bullying policy for the comments. Love hearing them all, and I really do want to apologize for the slack on getting these up and running between the pandemic and some mental health issues. I've been a little lax, but we will get back on track on that and show you what I'm working on. So let's have some fun. Alright, I've got a friend of mine that is looking to have a set of arms for the list tree for Crown Tournament. This is very important in the ways of, identifying you on the field, but also at the same time frame, see you where you are, who you're going to be selected to, and all that fun stuff. And usually most heralds would say around Crown you tend to get a few more submissions than normal, but we're going to start off with a basic blank shield, and he is actually looking for a coney head erased and a couple of swords to be added to this. So let's start with coney head. Got a coney head erased from heraldiccart.org. Wonderful place. I'd recommend it always. So what I'm actually going to go ahead and do is I'm going to copy this guy, and then I'm going to paste him into my shield. Now, he's a little on the big side, but that's okay. We can work with that. Zoom out just enough so I can actually see the dots, and let's shrink him down to where he needs to be. And we'll just put him right there for right now so I can get back up to normal size. And he is the primary charge, so we do want to go ahead and make him fill up majority of the shield. Yeah, that looks good. Alright, now we just need to add the swords. I'll play around with this a little bit and see what the client likes majority. So we got our sword here. Gonna copy that. And as well as I'm gonna paste that in. Again, zooming back out. For some reason, these images are quite large when it gets to it. Now, because of the fact that the coney is the primary charge in this, and the swords are going to be the secondary charge, and we want to avoid things like slot machine and whatnot, we're going to shrink that guy down and blow the coney head a little bit larger, so that way it's distinguishable between the two. And then I'm going to go back to the sword here, and I'm going to right click and duplicate the layer. Now for the first attempt, I'm just going to place, and this is where it's going to get fun, 3 of these, hopefully. I knew that was going to be a pain. Alright, so let's shrink them down a little bit more. Actually, we could probably take him in just a bit. That looks better. And of course, now I've got to bring these guys to appropriate size. Nice, easy, simple device. Always the better way to go. And you want to make sure everybody is currently in the shield where it should be. And that's lined up. Not looking like, I'm not liking how the swords came out. So what we're going to do is delete the layers for 2 of them. We're going to keep him. And then we're going to duplicate the layer there. Move 1 up. And do it again for number 2. And don't that look nice? So we're going to go ahead and save this so I can play around with it a little bit more. And download. And always make sure that you know exactly where you're placing it in there. Now, one of the benefits of doing it this way is that the fact that we can alter this, change it up a little bit. Everybody's kind of sized, but we don't start over. So in this particular case, we delete the layer, shrink you ever so slightly, and now what I'm going to do is rotate this like such. Duplicate the layer, move that to the side, and now I'm going to make them in solitaire. Now, something to be said about solitaire. A default position for a sword is with the blade pointed up and the hilt being down. There we go. Doesn't have to be perfect. This is just a rough. But in this particular case, it is going to be that the blades are pointing down. This would be called inverted. This also can, at the same time frame, add a point of difference. Subtle point, and don't quote me on this, always verify from the Cena, but that can make it a little more, distinguishable. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. Now, don't worry if everything doesn't match up just correctly. We'll go ahead and fix that up when the client actually decides what they want. Yeah, when that comes around, we'll go ahead and fill in the color too. I'm just going to send them the outlines. Why do all the work when you're really not sure exactly what the client is going to like or not like? And that's the second one. Excellent. Well, we want to go ahead and close that off. And I'm going to take this layer and delete it. I'm going to take you, move you back. I was afraid of that. Okay, so we're going to delete you as well. Boom. Going to move you a little more dead center. And I'm going to get a copy of the sword again from the default position and shrink that boy down. Okay, so we've got the two swords in a 2-in-1 position. We also got in solitaire. If the base doesn't work for the client prefers the chief, then we can certainly alter that a little bit more. Now, the reason why I'm moving him a little bit more closer to base and shrink just slightly, I want to make sure that the swords are still recognizable as a secondary charge. So I'm going to duplicate, move you over here. Actually, I'm going to move you a little bit away from the edges and a little bit closer. Lower just a hair. See what I did there? Duplicate the layer, move him, and there you go. So now we've got 3 swords in chief, but again, the primary is going to be the coney head erased, and again, this is just a rough. I'll clean this up, I'll get everything appropriated, and at that point in time, we'll go ahead and get the colors in. Now, the Client is definitely into the colors of argent, azure, and ore. So we'll play around with those when we get the final word back from the client. But before I go ahead and make a nice, wonderful mistake, so I'm going to go ahead and save this. And now I'm going to send all 3 of them to the client, see which one he enjoys, which one his lady enjoys, play with the color scheme, and I will actually start up the next video directly on that. Thank you for coming to Joy of Heraldry. I hope you have a wonderful time, and remember, no color on color, no metal on metal, but always keep going and being bright. Have a good day.